Welcome to my next Better Call Saul Season 3 episode review video. Before I get into that, though, pretty important, if you aren't caught up to the point where I am and rewatching or watching Better Call Saul, or you're just not entirely sure, then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll mention as well as put in the description. If that happens to be the case, you find that you're not caught up, it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this video any further to avoid any potential spoilers. And I've already watched Better Call Saul all the way through one time. In fact, I actually did episode review videos of Season 6 of Better Call Saul. So if you want to jump ahead a bit, and you've seen every single episode of Better Call Saul, you can click right here. With about 20 seconds left to go in the video, that's the end screen. That'll be the link to my Better Call Saul Season 6 episode review videos, as well as click right here for my Breaking Bad review videos and seasons ranked, characters ranked, episodes ranked, all that stuff and more. But I wanted to rewatch the show to let it resonate because I binged it up until I got caught up with Season 6 of Better Call Saul. And I remember some stuff, but if you ask me to rank the seasons of Better Call Saul, I can't do that at the moment. But I hope to do that this time. So, like the show, it's definitely one of my favorite shows of all time. Definitely top 15. I'm just not quite sure where it falls. It might be as high as number 6. Not higher than 6, though. But with all that said, this will be Better Call Saul Season 3, Episode 4. The title of this episode is called Sabrosito. And this will be my review, reaction, recap after just finishing watching the episode. So we start off with Don Eladio is seen swimming in his pool in Mexico. And he's visited by Hector Salamanca and some other guy with him, his henchman or whatever. And they present him with the returns from their drug operation, a bunch of money rolls belted by rubber bands, and a mascot bubblehead from Hector Salamanca's ice cream store that looks like Don Eladio. And his nickname, Sabrosito, which means tasty, apparently. Soon afterwards, Juan Bolsa arrives and presents Don Eladio with a Los Porros Hermanos t-shirt, as well as returns from Gus's operation, a much larger amount, neatly packed in plastic wrapping. Don Eladio teases Hector Salamanca, who is visibly jealous at Gustavo's having won Don Eladio's favor over him. And then as he's watching the DEA, now we're done with the Don Eladio stuff, as he's watching the DEA raid the ice cream store, Mike takes a moment to call Stacy to check on her. She thanks him for moving her and Kaylee to a safe neighborhood and invites him over for dinner. Later, while watching a movie and sharing some ice cream, Stacy notices that Mike seems anxious, which Mike denies. Hector Salamanca is not happy about having lost his supply line. The next day, accompanied by Nacho and Arturo, he walks into Gus's restaurant and behaves threatening towards the customers and staff, helping himself to some soda and lighting a cigar. Gus is summoned from a visit at a fire station across town and finds his workers held hostage by Hector Salamanca and his goons. After sending them home, Gus confronts Hector in his back office, who demands that Gus transport his product. Now that he has lost his supply line after the 3 cartel members leave, Gus cleans up the restaurant and seems very satisfied that his plan against Hector Salamanca has worked perfectly. That night, Victor drives to Mike's toll booth to give him his payment. To Victor's surprise, Mike refuses, claiming that he and Gus are square. The following morning, Gus addresses his employees and apologizes for the distress caused by the previous day's events. After some silence, Lyle asks Gus who Hector Salamanca and his men were, and he tells him that they were, bad guys he encountered during his restaurant's early years in Mexico, and that he refused their renewed demands for money. After giving a rousing speech about how the righteous have no reason to fear in America and how those men no longer have power over him, Gus wins the moral support of his employees. Kim and Jimmy have learned that Chuck has hired a repairman to fix the door damaged by Jimmy's break-in. After working her way through the phone book, Kim identifies the company that Chuck has made the appointment with. Pretending to be Chuck's assistant, she gets the repair company to cancel the appointment and passes the information on to Jimmy, who's just giving his written confession at a remorse pass. At Jimmy's behest, Mike visits Chuck's house, posing as the repairman hired to fix the door. After managing to heal Chuck with a electric drill, Mike takes photos of the house's interior with a disposable camera. The next day, when Mike meets with Jimmy at Loyola's to show him the pictures, Jimmy is pleased, especially one depicting a gas lantern sitting on a stack of newspapers. Now that tells the whole story. Jimmy gleefully says he asks about the other thing, whereupon Mike hands him a note he copied from Chuck's address book. Despite Jimmy's curiosity, Mike doesn't disclose what he thinks of Chuck, but comments that it was nice to fix something for once, referring to the repair of Chuck's front door. So Mike would rather just fix things and not be like this hitman cleaner type guy. That night, Gus arrives at Mike's toll booth and inquires about his refused payment, and Gus comments that Mike's actions greatly benefited him and asks that Mike consider working for him in the future. Mike replies that he might, depending on the work. Before he leaves, Gus reveals that the reason he stopped Mike from killing Hector Salamanca was because a bullet to the head would have been far too humane. Jimmy, Kim, Chuck, and Howard meet with DDA Kira Hay for a mediation session over the proposed PPD. They debate on the wording of Jimmy's confession, with Jimmy and Kim trying to avoid the phrasing "destroy the cassette tape" in favor of a more vague "damaged property belonging to the victim." They also discuss the amount of restitution Jimmy owes Chuck for the door and, on Chuck's insistence, the destroyed tape, after which Jimmy signs a check. However, before the deal is finalized, Hay insists that Jimmy apologize to Chuck for his actions. Jimmy complies, saying that no matter how he was provoked, no one should treat his own brother like that. Not ever. After the meeting, Jimmy storms out without saying another word to his brother. Kim, on the other hand, informs Chuck and Howard that she will move to suppress the tape from Jimmy's hearing before the Bar Association, having deduced that Chuck made a duplicate before Jimmy's break-in. And Chuck reveals that Jimmy destroyed the duplicate while the real tape is under lock and key, which will definitely be played at the hearing since the Bar Association's standard of proof is very lenient. As Kimmy rejoins Jimmy and they both leave the courthouse, she says with a smile, "Bingo." And that's what ends this episode of Better Call Saul. So, really good episode. I'm going to score it an 8.7 out of 10. I can't remember exactly what happens next. I mean, I know they did something to set Chuck up. If they know the location of the original tape or the original recording, I'm not exactly sure what that is, but that's why I'm rewatching the show, because I don't remember every single detail. But I'm going to score the episode an 8.7 out of 10. And the character of the episode, I mean, you could argue for Mike. You could make a small case for Kim. But I think in this episode, you have to give it to Gus Fring, because Gus was just awesome in this episode. So, you've heard everything that I have to say. Now it's your turn. If you're a fan of Better Call Saul and you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please make sure that you Hulk smash the like button, share the video with a friend, put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section about what your thoughts are on this episode of Better Call Saul. What would you rate it, and whom would you choose as a character of the episode? Obviously, Jimmy's the character of every episode most of the time, but I wanted to go with the other character that's the standout. That's why I don't usually pick Jimmy. I might once or twice here. And then remember, I did review videos of Better Call Saul Season 6 when they actually aired, so click right here with, if you want to see those, click right here for my Breaking Bad content, reviews and all that. And then last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button, subscribe to the channel you're watching the video in, join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special, and you never know what you're going to see on JDev TV.